Hi, welcome back. My name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so that they can do winning high stakes speeches, whether it's for a job interview, a business meeting, or even at a conference. Today I want to give you a job interview tip. One of the questions I get asked often is, how much should you prepare for a job interview? Now, I know that preparation is very important, but how much should you prepare? And the reason I bring this up is because some of the companies today, especially I call it tier one companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, you name it, they send so much information to you to prepare for even a screen test, just a screening interview. So the question is, how much should you prepare? I tell people that if you have to prepare a lot for a screening interview, then perhaps that job is not right for you. Now, don't get me wrong, you do have to prepare, but the preparation is both ways. You got to prepare for what they're doing, what they want you to know, and they also have to prepare for what you want them to know. It has to be, bidirectional. It can't be just one way. So, the first screening interview, you really shouldn't have to prepare a lot. It is just to get a feel for the company. Now, if you have to prepare a lot for it, then if I were you, I would not take that interview because an interview is not a project, especially when it's a screening interview. I recently coached a candidate who had a screening interview with Google, and they just dumped so much information about Google, and evidently he didn't advance to the next step, partly because there was so much information that they were expecting him to know, and he just couldn't prepare for that. He's working, he's got other things to do, he just cannot turn that into a project. So you have to be very careful. You have to ask them, hey, how much preparation is reasonable? How many hours is this required? Because I don't have that kind of time to prepare for a screening interview. And if they say this will require a lot of time, then just cancel it. And if they're not that reasonable, then that's not the company you want to work for anyway. Even when you're speaking to the manager, the first phone call should not require you to prepare a lot. You should have some basic understanding of what the job is. And again, if you're applying for a job, it's a job that you know how to do. Otherwise, if you have to do a lot of cramming, then perhaps that's not the right job you should be applying for, and they shouldn't even be interviewing you. Now, when it's a face-to-face meeting, that's a different ballgame. That you do need to prepare. That one you do need to ask them, hey, how would you recommend I prepare for this so that I make a good impression? And they also have to prepare if you have some content that you want to share with them so that they get an idea. So this whole idea about preparation, it's incremental. Initially, there shouldn't be that much preparation. Just get a feel for what the job description is, and that's it. You just read the job description, they read your resume, and then see if there is anything there for you to move to the next step. The next step, you get to talk to the manager over the phone, see if you guys can connect. If there's some commonality, is he interested? What part of your background is he interested in? And and then you can decide, hey, for the next step, let's prepare and discuss it, whether I'm a fit or not, whether this is the place where I want to work. So the short answer to this is preparation should be incremental. You shouldn't go crazy and prepare like you're cramming for an exam at the early stages of an interview, because it's much easier to get rejected in the beginning. Especially, I tell people, if you're interviewing for a job that you applied, your chances are not going to be that good anyway, because they did not recruit you. You reached out to them. They got tons of candidates. And some of these companies, hiring is very strategic. They have an ideal candidate in mind. And if you're not that ideal candidate, you're not going to get that far. And another thing to remember is that many of these companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple are filthy rich. They got tons of money to interview thousands of candidates before they hire even one. So you don't have to really prepare. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, that's it. It's over. Don't sweat it. Because I've seen some real outstanding candidates who couldn't even get past, and some of them I actually have to tell them to cancel these interviews because there was just so much they expected of him. It was almost like you're getting ready to do your PhD, defending your PhD thesis. That's not what an interview is. They're not even putting these guys to work to get an idea how good they are. This is all just to get the opportunity to work it. So be careful. Don't get intimidated. Make it clear that, look, I'm just going to discuss the job. You're going to tell me about the job, but anything outside that I'll defer it to the face-to-face. And if they don't like it, hey, move on. Okay? Don't sweat it. You probably have all the background that you need. If that's not what they're looking for, if you're not their ideal candidate, move on. There are a lot of companies, outstanding companies out there, but do not stress out over these interviews. And that's what's happening today. So I just wanted to make you aware of it, that this is what's going on and what you need to do to handle these situations. Okay, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know. And good luck with your next interview, and thank you for watching.